There we go. All right. How are you doing today?
Good, good, and you?
Yeah, I'm, well, uh, getting better. Recovering.
Yeah,
Doing a little bit better than yesterday. That's all you can really hope for, I guess, in the beginning. But yeah, so I see some Demon Slayery stuff here. Let me know what you're doing right now and what I can help you with.
right. Yeah, so Demon Slayer because I have no hands.
Okay.
Um, Basically, I'm just doing dailies. I was very focused on um, Legion,
Yeah.
so it's already at a nice place.
Mm-hmm.
6K, everything is unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the thing that I enjoy the most is bossing.
Okay.
So I have right now. I've been trying to make a few boss mules, Hero, Dark Knight, um.
Just all the
So I have
warriors.
those three characters.
Just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, basically going for all the warriors.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that you want to do those high survivability, not necessarily high mobility, but like solid fundamentals. I stand here and I kill you from here, kind of straightforward classes. If you're
Yeah,
if you're not.
yeah, basically some classes that help me go around some of the boss mechanics that are really difficult for me.
Mm-hmm. Which ones did
But
you,
still trying
did,
to.
did you which bosses did you find were too challenging in that way, or starting to be, I guess?
Um, well, at the beginning, it's Hard Magnus is a real challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Things like Lotus, I couldn't do. I've been playing for a while, um, but I don't have a lot of time during the day
Mm-hmm.
because I have to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't unlock Lotus until like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, long prequests.
Um, yeah, that was also a part of it.
Yeah.
And and the first time that I actually beat Lotus was about 3 weeks ago. That I started consistently going in with groups
Mm-hmm.
so that I could wait out deaths and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not just only you
um
who has to
uh,
do everything.
right.
And is that through like
Yeah,
your
because
guild and some friends, or is it just random groups?
just randos because yeah, I am in a guild, but it's like a mule guild.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm with my main.
Okay.
Um,
Because of your
yeah,
activity, or
I'm yeah, because of my activity, I've
yeah.
been leveling up really slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. And Lotus and the other bosses in between, like Akechi and CPAP. Have you been able to do those?
yeah, Sipa was another one that was hell
Yeah.
to go through.
I thought you were gonna mention
Yeah,
that one. Because especially early
yeah,
on, it's not too straightforward. A lot of clock things going on.
yeah. And the other one is Helix.
Oh yeah.
I've been able to do Helix for a while now
Okay.
because I have some of the equips,
Mm-hmm.
and I just completed the first 700 coins, and
Mm-hmm.
I got the the necklace.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I have almost right now almost 19K stats, and the way that I do Golux is I go in, I burst, I go out, and
Mm-hmm.
wait.
And wait, and burst again. Yeah. You know,
Yeah, use my iframes and
you got to do what you got to do, man. Like,
just wait.
if that's how you get the clears, then hopefully after a while, you get stronger and you get a little bit more confident, and then you don't need to do it like that anymore. But if if that's what you need to do to get the kill, it's better to do that and make sure you have the kill than to like risk it and then slow down your progress even more, because getting the whole superior set already takes a while. So
Yep, that's right. Because right now it takes me about 13 or almost 20 minutes to kill Golux completely.
Yeah, that does cut
because
into
I have to wait.
Yeah, that does cut a lot into the amount of stuff you can do in a day, right?
Yeah.
Ideally you do it in like 2 bursts, even with your 4 minutes. But then it only takes you about 5 minutes, right? That would be the goal, and then that gives you 15 minutes every day to do other stuff. So then in a week, that's like 2 hours of extra progress, right? So that could add up pretty quickly. So we'll see what we can set up with your stuff. So you said you don't have that much time to play like during the day. So are we talking like somewhere between like anywhere from like half an hour to like an hour and a half max, and then in the weekends you have a little bit more?
Yeah, I have like 1 up to 2 hours max.
Okay.
In a day to play. The weekends I can play like for maybe 6 hours.
But you probably have other stuff to do.
A straight thing, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Technically, there are 6 hours free, but you're not going to spend all of those on Maple. Okay, so end game, and you're looking at bossing. You're just like slowly leveling up, doing dailies, and collecting defame, or what's the story behind that?
No, there's actually before I came back to play again. Thing with keeping maps and stuff. So like I was maybe training in a map, and I go into a portal. And when I came back, there was someone there. So it was just a few.
Some territorial disputes.
Yeah.
Let's call it that.
So that was way back when we didn't have like much of a rule of over
the Wild West of the
portals and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the main thing about that is that people thought that, well, if someone just always goes into every single map and says, "Oh, I was just in a portal," if you do that in every channel, eventually one person probably just got there and is like, "Well, I guess it's your map then," and then leaves. Then some people could take advantage of it. And the other thing is that now, if you find a free map and you're trying to train, the first thing you do is pop like 2-hour buffs, half-hour buffs, totem, all that stuff. Someone comes in 30 seconds later and says their map. It's like I'm sorry, bro. Like, I just popped things that last for 2 hours, right? And the map was free. Now, if I have to go find another map and I maybe don't find one, then all of that stuff is wasted just because you weren't here. Like, it's not your fault, but it's not mine either, right? So it's kind of like that's why that rule kind of evolved like that, because it's difficult. Because we were always thinking, like, back in the day, there used to be like these guilds. A lot of times they would be from like South America, and they would come into your map, and it's like, if you couldn't defend your map, then they would just take it. And that was like the olden days, and it was like that would see you collect some defib here and there, but otherwise, next time someone asks, just say, "I play a lot of rock paper scissors with my friends," and then they win on more, and then you lose a fame. So you could just use that one next time, okay?
Yeah.
You could use it as a better excuse, okay? I've learned from my past, now I'm better at rock paper scissors. Okay,
Yeah.
so right, and so what are your aspirations? Like, are there any things in the game that you really want to that you want to be able to reach, or is it just you just want to slowly move forward, make sure you don't make any huge mistakes, and kind of just know what to work on?
Yeah, goals that I have in mind. Yep, is just moving on to hard Lotus and Hardanian, maybe normal slime. Continuing the progress. I do have a goal to reach the 26k stat breakthrough. So yeah, start just working my way up and maybe get arcane someday if there are enough droplets.
Wait, you said 26? What is that?
26k main stat.
And what is that number? Where does that come from?
Oh, I've been looking at your progression
Okay.
guide, and yeah, just going to the late game, because then I know it's if getting here has taken me like almost a year. You know, moving over to the late game is going to be
right. You want to try to just get past the mid game benchmark, so you can officially say like I'm in the late game, at least to Scardor's progression zone. You know, as long as you can believe that, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's your goal. So you're like aiming towards like the what level are you now? 234. Okay. So you're aiming for like to getting into the 240s as well. Eventually.
Yeah. We're reaching 240s. I'm taking it slow because I started trying to collect as many familiars as I can. So this week I popped like 2 totems, and I got to 236 already.
Oh, okay, nice.
So yeah, I just finished like 2 days ago. I just finished the Sphera quest.
I see it here. Yeah.
So I have Sphera.
Nice. The badge?
No, just the
symbol.
The symbol, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see. Yeah, level 1 here. Yeah, that's nice. That's going to give you a lot of stats, of course. Okay. All right. So do you have, for me, I think that's a good intro. Like I have a good idea of where you're at. So do you have like some questions for me written down like right off the bat that you want to make sure that we get to, that we cover, so that you feel more confident in a certain subject? Yeah, maybe things that are more foundational so that we can get to those first, and then when other stuff can like build off of it maybe. So maybe like more general questions, big questions.
I have a few big questions, and most of them are about my WSE, because you know Demon Slayer has a lot of with their skills. They have a lot of IED and boss damage and all of that. So I'm not sure. If you look at my WSE, I've been lucky because I've got good potentials, like double attack lines in less than I say 15 bill. So, but I don't know if I should change things up, like get more boss damage or get more IED. I don't think IED would be. I think
my question about IED has a line, right? Or was it
my emblem has a line, and my hypers, I don't have IED on my hypers. And I'm reaching 93% IED, fully buffed with my familiars.
And that's without the superior Gollux as well, right?
Yeah, that's without Gollux set. Yeah, because I'm working on the ring right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and those things are expensive. It takes a while. Well, there's a lot of moving. So there's a few really big sources, and there's a lot of pieces that can move more. So when it comes to your WSE, it's really a matter of you want to know beforehand what are the other sources that you have of damage that are related to it. So basically boss damage with mainly an IED, and how much flexibility exists in those other sources, and that will give you a better chance that you have more combinations of potentials when you're rolling on your WSE that will potentially be upgrades compared to what you have now. So let's say that you have just your Legion like it is, and then that's it. You don't have like you can't add any more familiars. There's no superior Gollux set coming in anymore. Like all of that is already locked in, and you're barely at the ID where you want to. You can't really, and you had the same WC that you do now, then you can really roll over your emblem, because like there's only like 2 upgrades, and that's like 40 IED and 18 attack, and 40 IED and 21 attack, right? There's only like those 2 outs. So that's only possible in 3 different configurations. So the amount of money you will have to spend to get a better upgrade there is going to be very, very high. But now you have your hyper skill still available for IED possibly. You could maybe get a 3rd slot for the familiar. You could even get higher familiars on epic and unique, right? You could get what's the other one? A superior Gollux set can still come in. With all of those things, DS definitely doesn't need a line of IED anymore on the WSE, and any like combination of attack and boss damage is fine. However, early on, having one line, especially on the emblem when you have a attack line and a damage line and the IED line, I would definitely keep that for quite a while. And the main thing that you're doing now, I think, is just throwing like spare Meister cubes on the Princess Nose secondary, right? To see if you roll anything really nice there.
Yeah, I have that secondary. I'm not sure if I should like transition over to the Princess Snow or hope for a Damien drop shield in the future. So I'm not sure if I should right now. I'm just throwing things at the Princess Snow every time I get them. If I get something good, I can use it maybe like for bossing or farming.
Yeah, so what I heard is that if you're training more like the lazy way, right, and you want the you do like the chaos lock way, then it's a good idea. Well, there's two things that are good ideas there. One is to have in your inner ability buff duration, so that your help me with the name here, Boundless Rage, I think, right?
The buff that allows you to use less rage.
Yeah, and then Boundless Rage lasts way longer, so you can just do like Chaos Lock teleporting all over the map for much longer. And the other thing is that if you use the Princess No Shield, that thing has like 60 or something, right? 63 more Demon Fury. So that also makes it a lot easier to do that for a longer period of time without ever really running out. But if you're at the point where you are now, you should be strong enough, right, to be mobbing and to be killing, even with like a clean shield probably, right? As long as your arcane power not at the newest area, right, because the arcane power isn't tracking yet, but if you're still going to be an Arcana, for example, even with this Princess No Shield, you should be able to still kill the monsters quickly, right?
Yeah, I actually I went to Esfera to kill Arachne, and I can actually, the red ones, I can actually one shot them. Yeah, with concussion. It's just that I've invested a lot in the concussion node, looking for one that is good, and I finally got it. So I had concussion. I have it like over level 30 something. So it's really good for mobbing.
Nice. Yeah. So then if you're gonna do like the quote unquote laser way, and then you want that that extra, then I would just use the Cursed Shield, but I wouldn't really be chasing on damage there on the WC right now. I think having 2 line is fine. I would focus definitely now all the money towards getting everything to 17, especially with the events coming up, right? We've got the No Boom Room, and we've got the 5, 10, 15, and the overlap between the two. We've got that coming up soon. So that's going to be the best way for you, from like if I'm scrolling through your stuff, to you to spend your money on, to make sure that all of the Abzo catches up and all of that gets to 17. And after that's done, I would probably continue to just like, Meisters on the Princess No, and if you don't get a Rune Force Shield before you hit something nice there, then you just keep doing that, and then you can use it, maybe one for mobbing, maybe one for bossing, just depending on the potential you get on there. And then if you eventually get a Rune Force Shield, then you'll want to switch over, but it's going to be more risky, so you'll need more experience with the bosses first anyway. Otherwise, you're just going to die to really dumb things. And the other thing that's going to help you there and to survive with that shield is going to be your inner ability again. Is probably going to try to get the cooldown skip, right? So that you can have your iframes cooldown skip every now and then, so you can have more access to them. So when I'm looking at your inner ability, it looks like you're kind of like YOLO rolling your honor away every time there's an event or every time you have some honor. Because I see you have the 20 boss and then nothing on the second and the third line, right?
Yeah. I just got the 20% boss. The when we had the ability reset.
Okay.
Last Sunday, a few Sundays ago.
Yeah, it's very recent. With your honor experience this low, you really can't do anything productive with it. So it'd be a good idea to just sit, like really, like lay off the inner ability, like not spend any, and really just try to focus on getting honor experience from like event shops and stuff like that, most of it, and try to gather honor experience where you can, because eventually you will want like more stuff out of your inner ability, either and this comes in a little bit, there's a bunch of outs, but like a lot of people want either drop rate very early for more nodes, or they want meso obtain the whole way up to like 250 until you're mostly grinding, and then you start doing more bossing content, then people typically transition over to more bossing. But buff duration will also work for you, right? With Boundless Rage for mobbing, or the cooldown skip, or boss damage. So you've got a lot of combinations there. But to eventually get to the ability you want to, the biggest value is in trying to get like a really good unique line that you need and a good legendary line. And the way to do that is to pay for the unique line with circulators and then lock that one, and then pay with honor to get the legendary line on top of the unique line that you're locking. That's going to be quite expensive. That always, you want to at least have like 1.5 million honor experience or something like that before you make that jump. So until that point, I wouldn't spend any of the honor EXP and really just play the long game on that part. But that is, it's all interconnected, right? So whether you get, if you get the Rune Force Shield, you probably want to get the cooldown reduction, especially if you say like you don't have great hands, so you could iframe more, right? If you're mostly just going to keep grinding and you're like, the bosses I can do, and then ones that the next bosses are just so much more difficult, like I'll probably never get to them, maybe you get more Meso Obtain instead on like a second or third line, so you can just make more money and get to that point faster, so you can upgrade your stuff and be stronger, right? And or you do cooldown, a buff duration, because you're just going to do lazy training while you're watching a TV show or whatever, so that you can make gains while you're not really paying that much attention. Whatever kind of play style you feel like doing for the coming period, right? So I'll keep those options open there. But so for the WSE, I wouldn't really work on the potential on any of the stuff now. Just do the side stuff, and you can always redo your emblem after you get the Superior Golix set completed, right? Because then you have the IED cushion, and then you have the hyper stats that will fill in. Because once you're going like closer to 250 and past 250, you really don't want to be leveling things up to like level 13 or 14 in your hyper stats that much. It makes way more sense to just bring everything up to like between level 8 and level 10, for value per hyperstat point basically, and then take your Legion blocks to move around that. Because in the Legion block, it's more like every single percent is kind of like the same value, because it's almost all like 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, but it always stays the same. It's not progressively getting more expensive, but in hyperstats it does. So once the hyperstats all get to like 10% or something, then it's more important to just move around the Legion block a lot. So yeah, but you already have the IED in there, right? Yeah. So if you the next steps would be, I think, is slowly work towards the arcane weapon, and then when the arcane weapon comes in, the potential of the arcane weapon, that will determine where all the other stuff goes and what needs to be rerolled. But probably you get the Superior Golix before then, and then you can reroll your emblem when that happens.
Okay, so we'll be rerolling the emblem to remove the IED and get maybe 2 attack lines, is that correct?
Yeah, priority will be 2 lines of attack. If you can get 2-line attack and a line of crit, or 2-line attack and a line of stat, or 2-line attack and a line of damage, that would be really nice, of course. If you get 2-line attack and a line of IED, that could be cool too. But at that point, what I would do is I would move the IED in your Legion grid and move that into boss damage instead. So basically, then you get a boss damage line out of it. Or essentially what you're getting is like 2 lines of boss damage from your Superior Golix, basically, right? You're just moving the more flexible pieces around the more static pieces, which is a set bonus, or a WSE potential, which is very expensive, right? Those are the more static pieces. The more flexible pieces are hyperstat points, where you put your Legion points, right? Those can be moved around very easily, so you want to make sure that you prioritize it that way. All
right. So yeah, the amount of IED that I have right now, including with my the IED of my natural skills, is good, right? I shouldn't try to get more, because that will be wasting money.
At this point, yeah, and like I said, there's still sources that you're going to be moving into. So there's like the you get like the 7-day monster Parker, for example, right? One of those will get you more IED. The set bonus will get you more IED.
Right.
I think there's a little bit more IED in the Abzo set. I don't know exactly where. Arcane Weapon itself will have more IED built in. There's just going to be little sources here and there, left and right. And then before you know it, your visual is already going to get closer to like 95-ish. And then you add on top of that the built-in IED that you have, and then you're basically good like all throughout the game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's just that I went into the DS Discord, and I was told that maybe just keep it on 93, because that should be enough for DS. So that's why I was aiming for that number.
Yeah.
So the other thing is bossing damage, and right now I have barely like 200%, and that's why I have like 12 points in the in my hyper stats.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering if I should get more, maybe, shoot for a familiar that has line of ID and line of bossing, if that's possible, or
Well, the amount of
yeah,
boss
how do I
damage.
incorporate more?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to boss damage specifically, that's not a stat that you need to look at by itself. You always want to look at boss damage and damage percentage combined. You always want to throw those together because when you're bossing, they always get added up together, right? And some classes are going to visually have a lot of boss damage, but then maybe really low damage. And some classes are going to be a little bit lower on boss damage, but then have a lot of damage. So you always want to throw them together, and then that's in the the progression grid here. That's the fourth one here, right? Functional damage percent. So if you add those up together, like when you're training or when you're bossing, bursting, whatever, you can have like roughly 100% uptime on, right? It looks here like 240 to 400. I mean, if I'm adding up yours, I see like 340 here. So this does not look low to me at all. I don't think there's anything there
Okay.
to push on. But what I will say before is that even if you feel like your boss damage is a little low, going from 10 to 12 on boss damage, that's, I don't know, by heart, what is that, 50 and 65 points? Is like 115 points or something?
Yeah.
If you put those in ID instead, even if you already have 93, sorry. So let's like really quick maths, okay? Let's say that right now, let's say before you put the points in, 2 4s, so that's 8%, right? 2 levels from 10 to 12, 2 times 4. So now you're at like 343%. So before you were at 335, you have 100% base. So you were at 435, going from 435 to 443. It's 8% on 435, so that's 154th. So that's almost 2% final damage, right? But if you have 93% visual ID, you're functional, you've got some other stuff going on. Let's say that functionally you're probably pretty close to 95 because you've got big sources in your damage, right?
Yeah.
Which means you probably get about 15% damage reduction to the high level bosses because 300% PDR. So you're doing 85% of your damage. If you would add 30% ID instead, by just going 30 ID instead of the 8% damage, then you're going from 95, 30%, 1.5 to 96.5, 3.5, 10.5% reduction. So you do 89.5 of your damage. So instead of 85% of your damage, you do 89.5% of your damage, which is an increase of 4.5 out of 85, which is like 4.5% final damage. So it's almost twice as much damage increase if you just get your IED up than if you get your boss damage up. So even though you're hitting the number that you want to hit on IED, that doesn't mean that going higher than that is therefore worse. It's not like with boss damage the sky's the limit, because boss damage and damage combined is additive, right? So the further you go,
Yeah.
the less of a relative increase it's going to be. So those points, if in your hyperstats, putting them in IED instead, even if that gets the ID a little bit higher for now, that's totally fine. Like some people, like when I was making my Adele bossing wheel, for example, at a certain point I was like visually at 98, but that doesn't mean that I have to start spending a whole lot of money of re-rolling, because what that means is I get a whole like very low final damage reduction when I'm hitting bosses, right? So all of my upgrades that I'm making, a lot of that is going through. And if you have a good legion, maybe you have access to link skills, stuff like that, you're gonna do enough damage regardless. So it's almost more important to just hit a line rather than to try to perfect the number within each line, you know? So I think you will see your damage go up quite a bit, and that will also show you that visual ID is going very high, and then you'll also feel way more comfortable rolling out of the emblem when you do, because then it won't suddenly drop to like 88 or something, right? Because then you'll feel like, oh shit, now it's way too low, which it would be. So sometimes it's better to just have a buffer a little bit higher than to try to be exactly on the number. But that's just, did the maths with the ID and with the boss damage, did that make sense to you, or do you want me to explain that a little bit more?
It didn't make a lot of sense,
Mm-hmm.
but I understand your point that
Yeah.
and the re-rolling of the hyper stats. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it's totally fine to just see 96 IED. That doesn't mean like, oh, I immediately have to move stuff around. If you have budget and you have a lot of cash lying around, then that would mean that. But it's fine to be like at 96 for a while. It's also fine to be at like 91 for a while if that means your boss damage goes up to like 250% or something. As long as the balance is there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think you'll find, yeah, it's hard to tell because your range doesn't go up, right? So it's all just, you kind of have to know the maths behind it. And then when you're killing the boss, you'll probably see that you might not even see the numbers go up that much because Demon Slayer, you do like 16 billion lines, so it's even hard to tell what's even going on half the time. But the bosses should die faster in fewer bursts, and maybe that alone already could make like a big difference when it comes to, for example, like the Helix run, right? If it's just one burst faster, you're already saving 4 minutes, right? So that would be
yep, definitely.
And that opens up 4 minutes every day, so that's a half hour of your week that you can do some other things and make some more gains while getting, you get more stuff done in the same amount of time. But yeah, we'll try to find some more of those things if we can. But you're still grinding. You're taking part of the Maple Tour stuff.
The
Night Troop, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Maple Tour, yeah, my bad.
The Night Troop, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just I actually went with Cannonball this week.
Mm-hmm.
To see if I can get some free symbols to level them up.
Mm-hmm. And have you been able to play since then, or because there's been game has not been doing too hot?
No, I haven't even capped coins. I went with I just went in, talked to everyone, and started the event. Did the punchkin and logged out.
Okay. Well, you already did more than me, so I haven't even seen the inside of that map yet. So you got off to a rough start with the patch. But
definitely.
Is your goal to do any of the grinding? Because I guess like for the weekends it would be cool, but then you get nothing during the weekdays, right? Or barely anything.
Well, with events, I do try to do them first. Actually, like I took the EXP hit from 30 to 35 so that I could get some familiar cards. I've been just on the grind with Blue Shadows in Arcana. So
do you have a vac pet?
I got no, I don't have backpacks.
Yeah, because that one's nice there. Because the map is very spread out, right? A lot of platforms, so looting there can be a bit rough.
Yeah, it is. It was taking a lot of time. Just the looting, over like 40 seconds of looting, so that I could get everything before it disappeared.
Yeah, the 1/3 of the time is looting, 2/3 of the time is killing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I haven't been able. I've leveled up some familiars to unique, and actually want to unique to epic, but yeah, no luck. And
wait, sorry.
I just go there.
Say that again. You turned some epics with like bad lines into unique, but they didn't go up to unique, or the unique reveal was just bad.
I had one unique and it was bad.
Yeah.
And the epics that I've gotten, they have had bad lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds about right. Sounds pretty normal. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that I go there just to coin cap and then get the familiar cards that I can. That's why since I don't meso farm because I don't have the time. I have most of my legendary lines are drop lines so that I can get the familiar cards and the node stones. And that's basically what I've been doing. I just focus on coin capping first so that I can get the things that come with the different events, and then try to do other things when I have the time.
Right. And is that why you're thinking of the bossing mules? Because you can't really do totems throughout the week, so it's like if one day you've got your dailies done, maybe you can squeeze in half an hour and do some bosses in that time, so you can at least make some money.
Yep. That's where my money's coming from right now. From the bossing mules, I'm making about I did a spreadsheet with all the bosses that I could kill,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm making about 3 and maybe 4 bill a week.
Mm-hmm. And it's like MapleStory,
Um,
Ursus, and crystals, or is that just the crystals?
that's just the crystals.
Just the crystal. Okay.
Yeah, because I can't kill many bosses with the 220 mules
Mm-hmm.
yet.
Yeah, probably just like maybe HMAG and then everything below, kind of like that.
Yeah, with the paladin I can kill HMAG. With with the Dark Knight I can't yet.
Okay. Yeah, maybe if you get to a certain level of strength and you do like the really long iframe, then maybe that's long enough, right, to kill it. But then you'd need, it's really rough because then you need buff duration invulnerability and buff duration, legion. And then if you need like a really big legion to set all of that up, and then you might be able to do like super long iframe and just burst them down, for example. But yeah, that'll take a little bit of building up to that.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to like the WSE, the IED, and everything, like that's all. You feel like that's all answered, or did you have any remaining questions there?
Nope. That's all answered. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And was there any other big topic you had any questions on, or like small things you want to ask about?
We covered the secondary for Princess No. I was thinking, my Legion should I? It's already 6.2k because I leveled up another magician to get the link skill.
The link, yeah, nice.
Yeah, I just finished Fire Poison to 120. So I'm not sure if I should continue to level up the Legion past the 6k, if that should be a priority, or just get the link skills that I need and focus on something else.
Yeah, when it comes to Legion, it depends on the person, right? Some people really just hate Legion, and it's really just functionally just to get your main stronger, and because you kind of have to, but otherwise they want to do as little as possible. And some people are just like pretty neutral, and then some people just love playing all the classes to the extent that they have like an 8k Legion and never really got a character like past level 210 and don't really have a main yet. If those are like the three groups, which one would you say you're roughly in?
I do enjoy other classes. That's the reason why I have duplicates of some classes. And also because I wasn't playing and then I came back.
And then they're naked. You can kill anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and just use some of the events to kit them up better. But I think that I do want some of the warriors. I just like the warriors. So I want to level up like Kaiser and Arc as well. So just because they have good strength that just benefits every single warrior that I play. Yep. For the Legion, and I like their playstyle. So I enjoy playing them, but I don't know if I should invest time into it or just focus on my DS.
Right. Well, I would say, it really comes down to a time management thing. Like trying to get through as many of your totems as possible is, of course, in terms of just value and efficiency, is very high up there. But I'll never force people to do totems, like if you just don't want to do 2-hour sessions. But, if you have totems left at the end of the month and, you have like an hour to train, you could also use a totem for an hour, right? You could still get a lot of gains out of it that way. And then it's better than just letting it expire and not using it at all. But the other thing is that, if you find some time to do, like if a little bit of bosses on a side character, like a bossing mule, because you can at least make some time or some money with the time that you have. I preferred for Legion to always just always have like a balance between what I'm doing, and always be doing some Legion. Either I'll be working on that would be an example now. I never had that luxury back in the day, but like either working on bonking potions on one character or doing some kind of daily quest on a character, maybe like Monster Park, or you know, like the Star Guardian, not Star Guardian, that's a different game, but like the Starlight, Star Bridge thing, right? That was the previous event where you can get like a lot of experience on a lower level character, or kill like Sakum a few times on some characters just for like easy levels up to 140. Always do like one of those things during the day, and then or like make a new character if there's not really any character to work on. So just to constantly keep the Legion kind of going, but never really let it take over what you're doing with your time, but always be making some progress for Legion. Because it's really a thing where I find for Legion, you might find some characters that you find more fun, and then the progress is just a little bit faster, and then sometimes a character you don't like, and then the progress is a little bit slower. But it's really a slow and steady kind of thing. I don't like it, you know, controlling everything I do, and I also don't like to do nothing about it, because there is always room to grow on Legion. So I like to do a little bit, and then, you know, some events will make you want to do it more, and then some events make you do a little bit less if you're really like grinding hard on the main and doing a lot of totems, for example, and you don't have enough time at the end of the day. So like right now there's the bumper car thing, right? So if you do like the bumper car thing for like your Beast Tamer or for your Blade Master, you know, get towards 200 on some characters that are like kind of close, or the Marksman, you know, like that one's getting up there. And then maybe, you know, maybe the next day you don't feel like doing that, so you just do like Zakum runs on like 3 or 4 of the mules. You just log in, kill the Zakum, log out, you know. That can be very quick, but at least then you always get like a little bit of progress, and then every time you log in and you open your Legion board, the number is just always a little bit bigger. And it's really one of those things where trying to get like 500 levels in a week is like way too much, but if you do a little bit every day, before you know it, 6.5 is going to be around the corner, and then suddenly 7k is there, and then there's a mega burn here, and then there's like a hyper burn there next event, and before you know it, suddenly you're near 7k. And it's really just, you know, a matter of just keeping it going and finding a like a steady pace to do it at, I would say.
Gotcha. Yeah, about hyper burning, now that you said, I'm not sure if I should spend it on my DS or just take another class to 250 if possible, because I don't know how fast it will be after like the 230s.
Yeah, that's a good question, because one of the major things will definitely be like to which extent do you get upgraded, and if you're, as long as you're feeling like you can still kill all the stuff around your level, and that's fine. It might be that you're already like in the 240s, right? Before the event even comes out. If you're like 242 or something, that really means that if you're hyper burning, that you just get 3 level ups from that, right? Up to 245, 248, and then, you know, then the last one to 250, and then you're done. So you're really getting 3 level ups out of that. For some people, that might be a decent idea because they just want to get to 250. They want to make sure they get some value out of it. But maybe by that time, you know, maybe the Dark Knight, you're like, you know, if you can get closer to 250 on a Dark Knight, you can get so strong with those long iframes, you might actually be able to kill a lot of the bosses without hands, right? You just sit there and you just burst the boss down and it can't do anything to you, right? That could be a really nice way of making more income, because then maybe you can do normal slime, for example, on the DS, and then maybe also on the Dark Knight if you fund them up strongly enough, and then that weekly income can go up quite considerably. So you'll have to see like how much time do you think you're going to have to play, how many level ups and how much value you're specifically going to get it on the DS by the time it comes out, because it's November 16th, right? And it probably will run all the way until late January, I think. So you have quite a lot of time to do the levels, but don't underestimate, right? It's not like once you get to 200 that it's just like, oh, it's just like, what is it, like 15 level ups, 16 level ups, and then you're done. So that's going to be done in like 2 days. No, it's still, there's going to be a lot of people trading. Maps are going to be very full. And even though you're going at like triple the speed, 1 level up still takes as long or maybe longer because you're leveling up faster. So you're not going to get as strong in the same amount of time. But once you get there and you're training, then you're definitely going to get to the point where you're like, oh, you know, once you level up, then you get 3 levels, but you have to get to the level up first, right? So it's still, it's going to be rewarding, but only every single time after you level.
Yeah, and going at that pace, if you don't check your arcane power, then you're not going to be able to level up because you're going to hit the wall with the arcane power.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and if you have a bigger legion, you have like node stones ready, that kind of stuff. Like a hyperburn will get some resources, right? You'll get symbols, you get higher level symbols that you unlock at the areas, you get nodes, you get that kind of stuff. But if you have even more nodes, money lying around, then you can really get a jump start, and you can crush out that 250. You can brute force your way through it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have node stones. I've been everything that I farmed. I just got the nodes that I have, and they're not even like perfect
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that you have that like the 3 bossing skills in one node. I
Mm-hmm.
just went to like I need these 6 skills, so I'm going to get them in any combination and just
Mm-hmm.
get the 4 that I need.
Yep.
And I just got the last one that was the concussion that it was the one that I was grinding for.
Mm-hmm.
So from now on, about the node stones,
Mm-hmm.
I should prioritize the the main 5th job skill,
I don't think
or
you
just continue trickling.
I think you forgot to include a picture from your matrix, because I was scrolling through it. I don't think I saw it here. Could you maybe I don't know if you're on right now. Do you have it in your account or in on Discord?
No, I didn't get it.
Okay.
Maybe I forgot. It's just my bossing skills are like at level 3, 4. Like the the demon lash
Mm-hmm.
is just getting there. Everything is like below the level 10s,
Yeah.
except for the tri nodes that are really high up, because I was, just pumping everything into them.
True. Yeah. Usually I would try node at least a level 15. All of them. Are they around there?
Some of them are actually above 15.
Okay. Yeah, so because 15
Yeah.
is a good spot, right? Because then 15, 15, 30, 2 level ups, 40, and then you get that level 40 bonus, right? So that's definitely a good place to be at. Usually I keep bumping the boost nodes up to like 20, 21, 22, like around there. And then I start focusing on skill nodes. For some classes a little bit sooner, for some classes maybe a little bit later, but that's usually when I start, because then I find those last levels are pretty slow anyway, plus, comparative to how much you're already getting, you're getting a little bit diminished returns, and you're going to be opening a lot of nodes in the future anyway, because you're leveling up your skill nodes, and you're still going to open up a lot of boost nodes. So eventually they'll max out anyway with everything you open up. So I think for your 5th job, there's one, oh god, what is it called? Oh god, I was gonna say like the purple thing with the face
Awakening?
on it, but they're all like, yeah, Demon Awakening, right? Because that one, I think that it's either the cooldown or the duration or both that like changes, so you get more value from the leveling up there.
Yeah, the duration increases. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a really powerful one, both for training and for bossing, right? So
Yeah.
you wanna because what it is, it stays on 2 minutes. Okay, so it starts on at what is it, 30 seconds? God, I'm blind. Where am I looking?
Around 30 seconds right now.
Oh, here, 36. I think it goes up to 65 or something. Yeah, 65,
Yeah,
right?
right now it lasts like 40 something seconds for me.
Yeah, so eventually it goes up to over 50% uptime. So it's just kind of disgusting. It's one of your really, really strong skills. And yeah, it has like 65% crit rate in it for some reason. But yeah, that allows you to stay really low in the crit rate as well, right?
Yep, I don't have any crit rate. I have like 66 with Legion and with the skills, the link skills, and that's it.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I have link skills for crit, only crit damage.
Yeah, I think it's either 50 or 60%, I think, the crit rate that you aim for, right? As a DS?
I'm not sure. Actually, I haven't worried about it because it's not. The skills that I use for training are.
As long as you only see crits, then you're good, right?
Yeah, because most of them are just 100% crit, and then like Demon Cry, that is not a big damage source, but it applies some debuffs.
Yeah. Defense, EXP.
It's not really used that much every
drop rate,
20 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then during Demon Awakening, you automatically have 100% the whole time, so that's going to be over 50%. Yeah.
Yeah, right now I have like 66% crit rate, and I have nothing else, and I haven't even thought about
Yep, that sounds
adding more.
that sounds like a good problem to have for a lot of people. Some classes are struggling out there trying to get their 35% crit rate all the way up to 100. Meanwhile, you only have 60, and then it already applies 100. So good luxury situation to be in. Yeah, so I would definitely work on the Demon Awakening, and then can I from here check the other? Wait, okay, the other 5th job skills. What else do you have? You have like the big final, like 16 million line thing, right?
Okay. The summon the snake.
Oh, Orthus. Yeah. You have the snake, Orthus, and what's that last one called again? Bane, right? Bane. Demon Bane, yeah, the really big one with the giant iframe and then crazy damage burst at the end, right? The 4 minute.
Yeah. Demon Bane. Yeah.
As far as I recall, as far as the order goes, Bane is of course very strong, but I think Orthus, both for mobbing and bossing, very powerful to just help you keep constant map clear up. And like alternating between Demon Awakening and Orthus, right? So always have one of those two up when you're training, so just the map is just always completely dying, is really good. And the there's some stupid, I don't know why you guys get it, but stupid Demon Slayer buff going on for Orthus as well. I think the duration at max level is going up from like 40 seconds to like 52 or something, like some ridiculous increase completely for free. So the future for that skill is very bright as well. So I think Orthus probably after that. Sounds like a very, very strong and solid skill. Then yeah, you're decent, so you don't have to level at all. What else do you have? You could go for second bind, but that's not as necessary.
Like I just incorporated the decent speed infusion, because I'm not sure if I'm actually doing the speed breakthrough, like going to -1 or like the limit.
Now, if you're using one-handed and decent speed infusion and green pot, right? And then your regular booster and everything, that should get you to 0, yeah.
Yeah, that should get me to 0. Okay, so I just incorporated that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd only break through if your axe was faster, or if you had the inner ability line. Then you would be like -1, well, which is not possible, right? So then you could drop 1. But for now, you'd be at 0, yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So yeah, that's basically my node situation. So I will definitely go for Awakening and Orthus now that my tri-nodes are at a good place.
Yeah, your burst will just feel so much longer and will just do so much more. It'd be like, oh damn, I remember doing one burst and the boss was only like, I don't know, like 60% left, and now it's only like 30% left. It's like, damn. Bars just start melting away.
Yeah, right now if I go in to Lotus, because I was doing a lot of practice mode, the first phase of the Lotus is the one that is the hardest for me. Right now with everything on, I take like 85-90% of the bar off before, like just with the tapping Lash and doing the summon and then Bane. But then maneuvering around the lasers kills me.
Is there can you chaos lock really with the lasers or no?
I'm sorry, kill what?
Can you use chaos lock to get through the lasers, like with the teleport?
Oh, I haven't tried it.
Because then you don't have to walk around, and that makes the fight way safer, right? And you can always stay on the bottom and the middle. If you need to, with your Demon Awakening Lash, you will always be killing the robots, right? So they can't really get to you. You can iframe and dash. Yeah, you could also save your iframes, right? Use an iframe and then dash through it. Someone said yes, you can.
I hadn't thought about using Chaos Lock.
Yeah, I would just go in practice mode and just try with Chaos Lock a little bit and find what is safe for you to do. I know that there's a few classes that can't really do it because they teleport to the middle of the boss, because the hitbox is in the middle, and then they teleport like right in the cross of the laser and just like die a horrible death. But Chaos Block might be teleporting underneath them, I think. And someone in chat is at least saying that you can try it. But yeah, you can always try in practice mode and see how it goes.
Yep, definitely will try that. I never thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use Chaos Block that much, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Not even training.
No, I get it. If you have like low hands, I have the same problem. You're like, I have my 5 buttons, and these are the ones I have, and all the other ones. If I need to use those, that means I just need to get stronger, and so I can stick to my 5 buttons. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm a DS main, and Chaos Lock looking away tells you through the boss, but he has to look the opposite way of Lotus. Okay, so looking away from the thing in the middle, and then making sure the laser isn't on the middle, and then pressing Chaos Lock. Huh. All right.
Okay.
You have to face the laser. Well, face the laser. That depends on what direction the laser is coming from, right? No, you have to face away from the laser, right? Because the laser is going to be in between you and Lotus.
Yeah, the spinning lasers are...
I mean, technically it's a cross, so you're always going to be facing a laser and facing away from another one. Because there's going to be in front of you and behind you. But yeah, well, I mean, you can, you practice with it, play around with it a little bit. No, so for Orthrus, that's going to be 40 to 52, so that's going to be almost 50% uptime. Yeah, so in between, that's more than 100% uptime between Demon Awakening and Orthrus. There's even going to be some overlap. Yeah. Now we got a potato. Yeah. Thanks for the help in the chat, our DS friends. Okay, so that's some help for Lotus. Hopefully that will make the phase 1 a bit cleaner. And what you could also try is like in the beginning. So this is like a way that you can kind of like cheat. So like in the beginning, if you do get stuck in the beginning, you can use your iframes, right? And if you get really, really stuck and the iframes are off, then you can use Bane. And then if you can survive for a little bit longer, then maybe the iframes already came back again, right? And then you can use the iframes again. And then you can stay on the bottom even longer. So sometimes if you have to, sometimes by holding your burst, you can actually give yourself more survivability. Because if Demon Awakening lasts longer, you don't have to use the Bane immediately to get that double damage, right?
Right.
So that could help as well.
Yeah, I'm using it just for the additional damage with Awakening, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, or you just hold everything, right? And then you wait for the laser to speed up. And then you like use Bane as your panic button. And then hopefully by the end of Bane, the laser is like slowed down again. Or you nuke it down, something like that. But that'll always depend on how much damage you have. Like if you need 2 bursts for the first phase, then you probably can't kill the whole boss. Because, the HP on the first part is very low compared to the whole HP of Lotus, right? If you're soloing. But, yeah, sometimes you just want to get out of that first phase as fast as possible. You don't want some crazy lasers going at you. Yeah, I get that.
Because when I went in with groups, the other phases are the dodging is easy. I just look at the state, just focus on the top of the screen, looking for the platforms when the electric thing comes on.
Yeah.
So that they don't hit me, and just jump over the push. And there's nothing else that can actually like one-shot me there.
No, phase 2, you should definitely get to the... Like, if you get to the point where you still, like, die once or twice in phase 1, that's not the end of the world. You should definitely not be dying in phase 2, though. Definitely get through phase 2 without any deaths. And then, if you die a few times in phase 3, that's not a problem either. And then as you get stronger and as you get better at it, eventually you just won't die at all anymore. Or you die once or twice to, like, some dumb shit, but it doesn't really matter because you have plenty of lives.
Yeah.
You can press it before you land and it'll dash you instantly if you have the dark... what is it called? Dark Thrust? Nice. On a macro. Oh. Someone is saying in chat.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give that a try, I guess. Little DS tips going around in the chat. Okay.
Great.
Any other topics you can think about where you need some specific advice? Because I don't see any other... Crazy thing we talked about.
Maybe just the ring situation. Because right now I only have the event rings and that's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the princess now.
The princess, yeah. The one thing I did want to mention, because we were talking about the familiars before, I would definitely focus, especially if you're still looking for drop rate familiar, to stick to epics for now, until you get your large drop rate, and then because that'll really take long enough. And then once you have that one, then you can make all the uniques in the world that you want. But you'll increase your chance of that high drop rate first, and then that drop rate is going to help you get even more cards and then accelerate the whole process. So I would stick to epics for now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I will now go for uniques. And the rings that I currently have.
Yeah. Let's see.
What's the one that I should like replace ASAP? Or should I get like solid Golux or something like that?
Okay, so you've got the crit one. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I guess the crit rate part of that is not really doing all that much, right?
Yeah, no, I only have it for the crit damage.
Yeah, and then has no potential. That's all. Well, the crit rate and crit damage are basically the potential, but only half of that is working with your crazy crit going on. And then you're using the Chaos. Are they down here? Oh yeah. Master String Mezzo 2 Strength. It's a nice Mechanator Flame right there.
Oh yeah, that was recently. I got it a few days ago.
9. Yeah, it's a really good drop in Mezzo gear. I mean, I guess the Tattoo's Flame is never going to be that good. That makes sense. Oh, did you like stop playing for a while when the Chaos Ring was still rollable, or can you still roll that for stats?
I tried like rolling it for 3 lines of strength, but I never got them.
Oh, sorry, I meant the base stats on it, because it's like 2 attack, 1 strength, right? It's a little bit low.
Oh, I can still roll that. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you can. Damn, helpline chat. How does that work again? Do you right click it or something?
Yeah. I know how it works. I didn't know if you could still re-roll it, so I haven't done it.
Yeah, there should be a date on it, like until when you can roll it. If there's no date, then you probably can't anymore. I don't remember when the last time was they came out, so.
It was the end, beginning of this year is when I got it.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's only 3 months that you can roll it. Yeah. But you can always check, you right click it, see if anything happens.
Yeah.
I will. Yeah, no, I think these stats are fine. So if you're in a situation right here, you're working your way towards Superior Golux. What you want to have now is you want to have good WSE. We already went over that, right? You have that. And then you want to have drop in Mezzo gear. You have that. I think, right? How was that situation? Is it full 5 Mezzo, 4 drop?
I have... No, only one Mezzo and like 5 drop.
1 Mezzo, 5 drop. Okay. Yeah, so that's gonna... Yeah. When you do trade, that's gonna hurt your income quite a bit. So do the other pieces all just have full stat?
No, everything... like the 9 slots I have, it's just only one ring has Mezzo on it. Everything has drop and a line of strength. Because as I said, I'm not like using the totems or leveling up or taking a lot of time training. Just the little that I do is just to get the familiar cards.
I see.
Work towards that.
Yeah, I see.
And of course the bossing helps me with the cubes that they drop, so I went mostly for drop rate instead of Mezzo.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be hard to tell if it's really good. Well, yeah, and if you're gonna maybe hyper burn this character, then you're gonna have even fewer levels, right? And fewer moments that you're going to be really using Mezzo obtain lines. And if you get to very high levels, then you just want to focus on getting the kills. The thing is with the Mezzo gear, like if you have that as like a more like quote-unquote solid foundation, you make that like somewhere between like 220, 225, like up to like you know, anywhere before 230 you have it all made. Then by the time you get to 250 you make like a lot of money back with it, right? And generally you get enough damage from your nodes, from your arcane symbols, from your WSE, from your legion growing and all of that. And then, you know, moving into Abzo, all of those things. You get enough damage from those things that you don't need the damage from the accessories, so you can go fully committed to drop rate and meso on the accessories. And the longer you wait, the longer you will get used to more damage from the pieces, and the harder it will be to roll out of it, and also the less time the pieces will have to earn their money back. You still have some pieces that could definitely do it, but the question is like, you know, do you want to use your reinforced earrings right now that are like 15% strength? The kind of treasuring, right? What would be, you have one meso, so you have the earring, one ring, and then you have oh no, wait, you have a drop rate earring, right?
Yeah, I have a drop rate earring. Only the double S ring is meso.
Okay, hang on. So you have a one drop ring, tattoo has meso, and then earring, pendant. Meso. Oh no, you have two lines of meso, right? You have two rings. Master SS and the, sorry, a ring and the tattoo, right? I have meso.
Oh yeah, and the tattoo. Those are the only two ones. Yeah.
Two meso. Yeah, so then and then you have both of the pendants have drop, and the earring has drop. And then the ring has drop.
Yep.
And the condense is also a face, but you can't wear it together with the tattoo, so it doesn't overlap.
Right.
Right. And then you have item drop rate on the eye, but you also have the chaos beam mark. Yeah.
I'm actually not using the sweet water yet.
The tattoo, you mean?
Yeah. I'm not using it yet.
So when you're not using it, then you have... do you have 6 lines of drop at that point?
Yeah.
Earring,
yeah, 6.
Earring, eye, face, both the pendants, and a ring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you have 6, yeah. So like the ideal quote-unquote setup you want to go for in the 9 pieces is have 5 of meso and 4 of drop. Eventually people transition into more drop, because what happens is you have like temporary damage gear, you have some hybrid gear, and then you move into superior Gollux, you move into either Chaos Beam Mark, Black Beam Mark, but in general into the Sweetwater stuff, right? And you basically break up the entire boss accessory set. And at that point, there's going to be some stuff that's like unique or legendary that's left over that doesn't really have a function anymore at that point. And then you turn that into like the extra damage gear. And then you get into the point where you're saying is like you get more cubes from bosses, you get hopefully more kind of treasure rings, more dominators, more primals, more that kind of stuff. And if you're specifically looking for, if you want to specifically look for familiar cards or for nodes, droplets, like all of that stuff, then you can scale up on that. But in general, the 5 meso obtain is very highly advised to have, just because of how much extra money you make from that, and it's just really, really strong. Again, it'll depend on if you're training enough and if your totems, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, if you're going to put in the work to get those levels, eventually they will make their money back multiple fold, and it will set you back a little bit in the short term, of course, because you have to invest in it, literally. But once you have that investment going, you're just going to make so much more money when you're training. And for some people, if you already need the motivation to train, it's going to help you with that motivation, because it's going to feel like you can actually get to a really good thing at the end of a training session, that you can see a lot more gains from it.
Nice.
So
basically, yeah, when I get the superior Gollux ring, and I think I'm going to be replacing the critical ring. Should I go for stats on that Gollux ring, or go for the misalliance?
I would kind of just see what the potential does. So if it rolls, basically you want to see all of your accessories together as one. right? Like the same way you see your weapon, your secondary and emblem, you see all the potential kind of as one big pile, right? You want to have enough boss damage and IED and attack from it, and then if you can get any kind of stat or crit, that's nice, right? The same thing way you want to see all of your accessories and all of the potentials like as one. So let's say the next thing you do is you get the superior ring. Okay, first thing you want to see is, does this complete the whole superior Golix set? If it does, then you want to roll really only for stat, right? Because you're going to be wearing it only when you're bossing, because that's when it's really, really strong. So you want to get stat on it to optimize your bossing damage. Now, let's say you roll 2 lines of drop, 2 lines of mezzo, or drop and mezzo. Now you can be like, okay, maybe I'll keep it, and then maybe eventually save up for another one, for example. If you don't have the set completed, any kind of combination I think is good, because it's going to be better than what it's replacing now. So either mezzo and some stat, or drop rate and some stat. If it gets drop rate and some stat, you can look at something else that has drop rate, and maybe no stat with it. Or lower stat, and then just re-roll that one for mezzo, and that way you can get yourself into another mezzo piece, and then just slowly kind of shift the functionality of the pieces as long as the whole goes towards having 5 of mezzo and 4 of drop at least in one combination, and then possibly having some backup pieces to replace the mezzo pieces when you want to go higher on drop instead, so like you have with the 2 faces, for example.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because the ring will actually complete the superior set. I'm not using it right now because it's not Star Force. I'm waiting for the normal room to Star Force everything.
Yes.
And then I think in about a week or 2, I might have the superior ring. I'm not sure yet, but I'm doing Golux every single day.
Good.
Okay. I
Okay.
have like over 40 coins already towards the ring, because I already purchased the necklace.
Yeah.
And I did drop the earring and the belt.
You got those as drop. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that would complete the superior set. So yeah, I will go ahead and complete the set and roll them for damage mostly. And I've been mining every single node that I find, both flowers and the heartstone and everything, and I've never found a primal essence. So
yeah, it's rare.
Getting that ring is really
yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, you want to have as much drop rate as you can to kill normal arc. You do that daily?
Yeah, I do. Also, and no Dominator either.
Yeah. Well, Arcarian can also drop the primal, so that's why it's a good daily boss, because it has both of those drops available. And yeah, if you really want primals, and that's like a really slow process, that's like your bottleneck, right? That's where you're kind of stuck. You can also try to run normal arc, if you have the time, of course, on multiple characters, because then you could just increase your chances quite a bit. And it is...
Yeah, actually, I've been running it on my 3 bossers every day. And then the Dark Knight got a dumb pendant. And,
of course, yeah.
Also, I have 2 dumb pendants on the mules, and nothing on the main.
Of course, yeah.
And
welcome to MapleStory. Yeah, no primals and only the drops on the mules. Yeah, that sounds about right. You're having the really standard MapleStory experience. It's good. It builds character.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you know that it exists, right? So now you can't stop. They've got you now. Yeah.
And the another ring that I could go for now, getting close to 20k stat. I'm not sure if I should go for like normal slime, if that is a possibility with a party or something.
Yeah. You definitely have like the iframes and everything. You'll have to have someone who's like more dedicated to well, if everyone knows exactly what they're doing, everyone can just kind of like, you know, knock those rocks around and block some portals, and that's pretty simple. It's really, starting around 20k with a party, you can definitely start doing it. And then like low 20s, like towards like the 24, 25, you see most people starting to solo, but like pretty long runs. And then the closer you get to 30k, just the faster and faster the runs that you get to. Like I have a few characters at 30k, and they basically kill it, like you kill like half of it when you go in, and then do one test, and then kill it before the second test gets to start, you know. So it's only like a 5 to 6 minute run at that point.
Okay, so those are the only rings that I can go for to start changing my ring setup. Right?
Well, yeah. So, well, you have the kind of treasure. If you get lucky, sometimes people in the beginning go for 2 kind of treasures. They get like 1 for damage, 1 for drop or mezzo, kind of depending on what roll comes out of it, right? In the beginning, when you're really star forcing wise only going up to like around 17, or you're doing potential up to legendary and rolling it, that's roughly about the same amount of money. So if you have like, you know, a clean ring or it's 12 star, you know, which is basically the same, and you end up getting mezzo and stat, and that, you know, that fits in what you still need, then you might as well just keep that and then just hold on for another one. But if it really to roll stats, well, there you go. Now you want to star force it as well to make sure that you smush those 2 together and make a strong star forcing ring. But yeah, you definitely want to get the whole superior set completed right before you start thinking about the reinforced or thinking about buying a solid. You definitely want to get the superior for the set bonus. If you need more potential rings, some people go for Treasure Hunter John's ring in NLC.
Okay.
It's more easily accessible if you need something with potential on. And that would also make for... I guess it has lower base stats, right? So if you turn that one into your drop or mezzo ring instead, and then if that frees up one of your rings now that's stuck on drop or mezzo, that, you know, like a chaos ring or a master SS ring that has a little bit more base damage to it, so that it could actually help you more in damage and maybe roll for like but this is like all after you go everything to 17, right? You want to get all your abso to 17, you want to get your superior to 17.
Yeah,
that's where all of your money is going to be going on the upcoming event, so definitely save up for that. And then after that I would try to figure out like the drop and the mezzo situation, and then when you're working on that as well, I would also look at recubing your glove, because you're going to be getting a lot more damage out of that once you get the critical damage line, right, over the stat that you have now.
Yeah, definitely.
So your visual stat is going to go down and your range is going to go down, but your damage output should go up quite a bit, even with just a line. But, you know, if you can get a drop of line of crit with either Sharp Eyes or Speed Infusion or line of stat, that would be great. And then slowly flaming a little bit on the side, but only what you get from bosses, right? No need to really go buy them, because like the shoe flame can still improve quite a bit, right? So that it can be
the
quite
shoe, I just got it.
Mm-hmm.
The shoe is the last Abso piece that I got.
Yep. Yeah, and then your full set, I think, right? I mean, the meta set at least, not the. We're not going for the overall and the hat.
Yeah.
Not that great. Yeah.
And I'm also saving, because I saw the meta, some different types of meta, and I got a lucky vellum hat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm keeping it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about going to incorporate it or something like that. That's like too much min-maxing for me.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a situation. I know definitely zeros go for it because of how their weapons work differently, right? For other classes, I don't think it's worth it in any meta right now, but it's good to keep it because you never know, some things might change in Korea and then suddenly lucky hats are like the bee's knees. It could happen. So I have, on all of my characters, I have at least 1 or 2 hats like just sitting around in case for a rainy day. But right now, there's no need to plan anything for it now.
Okay.
Okay, so what do we have? So the secondary goes on the side. The shoe is going up to 17. And glove is going up to 17. Where's the cape at? I feel like
the cape is already at 17.
Okay.
I could, from before, I upgraded a second cape.
I
see. I actually upgraded to 18.
Oh, you're like, oops. You were just clicking so fast. It was like, 18 already.
Yeah, I went up to 18 really fast, and I just kept it and just transferred it.
Okay, yeah, we take those, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Save some money. Okay. Okay, and then the earring, like you have the reinforced. If you have, you can definitely try to get the reinforced as well, at least like up to 16, right? And then, are you planning to do that? Reinforced up to 16, transfer, or I guess you could do the superior straight up as well. I don't know if you have no boom and. Because I was looking at it, if you have no boom and 5, 10, 15, it's it's about the same cost, just safeguarding, or well, you don't have to safeguard, right? But like safeguarding up to 17 on an Abzo, on a Superior, rather than having to transfer over. If you're going to stop at 17.
I've been keeping all the other, like the solid and
Oh, solid as well. Okay.
to think about it. Yeah, to think about it as an option, but not really thought about how to do it. So I think the number room is going to be the same Sunday as the 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, if you're like capping daily, but like, if you do the iceberg and stuff, you'll get a little bit sooner. But it should be available on the 5, 10, 15th of the Sunday, yeah. But and onward, of course. It's not just on that day, but like starting on that day.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Then I think I would go straight for the reinforced instead of the superior. Just Star Force those and the Abso 217. That's going to be my goal for the event.
Wait, you say straight for the reinforced, not for the superior, or you mean straight for the superior?
Straight for the superior. Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of the reinforced. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have some, I don't know, if you have like a epic solid or something, you can always transfer it through another reinforced, right? So you can get it to epic from the beginning. But yeah, it'll just be easier to just click on the same item over and over and just be done. Be done when it's done, and just to hold the click. Just don't go to 18, okay? On that. Be careful in there. You got to see a whole lot of people. Yeah. The thing with the Nobu room is you can see where people succeed or fail Star Force. You'll see a number over their head. So you see like 18 success, and then you see like 17 fail, and then 19 success. And you'll see like all the numbers, and you see some people going for 21 and 22, and then a whole bunch of booms and stuff. You'll see a little explosion over their head. Lots of dreams are made and destroyed on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of in, for some items you're in waiting room, right? You want to get more kind of treasures, you want to get dominators, and I guess you don't really have the motivation. Sorry.
I just got to my second kind of ring this week.
Nice, that's a good start. And for dineros, you're not really feeling that pressure, I guess, because no dominator.
I'm working still on Commerci. I started like 3 weeks ago doing Commerci, and I got the tattoo. But I'm still doing it every day. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to build a little bit of a bank off there. It's one of those things where as long as you do that, over time slowly, then once you get to the point where you're like, now I want to make the upgrade, then you actually have the resources. It always feels a bit shitty. So like, okay, now I want to make this next upgrade. And it's like, oh, I don't have any of the resources and they're time gated. Now I have to start the system. That always feels really bad. So it's good that you're like at least future prepping a little bit for that. That's nice. Yeah,
because if I want to like reach the 26, 24, 26k stats, I will need the Dominator and the Commerci necklace as well, I think.
Yeah, you want to be able to afford all of them. Are you going for are you leveling up the boat, or are you just staying at the what is it, the cargo skiff?
Since I started recently, I haven't reached the experience to level up the boat. So I haven't thought about it yet. Maybe I will go for it. But yeah, I'm right now I'm not sure.
Yeah, it takes a while before it pays off, but then eventually it does. So if you think eventually you're going to go past 19 stars on some of those pieces, eventually maybe a Pop Mark into a Monocle, eventually a Dominator into a Sweetwater Pendant. Sweetwater Pendant by himself is like very expensive, because the upgrade to the Dreadnought is pricey. It's 500 dineros, but you get so many more dineros per day if you do it after that. And then, even if you boom like one pendant, that's like 350, I think, gone immediately. So that's like very pricey too. So it depends on how far you think you're going to be pushing. So yeah, I would think about it. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for the Dreadnought, but not on every character. If I don't think I'm gonna push a character like very far, if I'm only gonna get like one piece and get it to 17, then there's no point. So then I just get one and get out, kind of thing. But also I've already pushed to like Dreadnought and like 6,000 Dineros on like 5 characters each. So I'm also kind of good on Commerci. I've my sea legs have seen enough rough seas, so I'm kind of okay on that as well. But yeah, as long as you know your options there. Okay, I'm gonna just scroll through the screenshots a little bit more. Is there anything else that comes to mind that if you see your screenshots or look at your account, any more questions that you have roaming around in your head? The rings.
No, I don't think so.
Pendants. No, I mean, you want a dom there. Some of your flames are already really nice, so that's good. Those are ones that you can ignore, right? Like the cup is really nice, and your top, I think, is really nice.
Yeah, following your guide and everything, I've been looking for T6 flames, but not investing a lot, just with the drops that I get and the events.
Oh. Yeah, now the Abzo will slowly get some flames here and there. Hopefully something nice on there.
Yeah.
Nice shoe, then maybe the glove a little bit more, but all in due time. And
yeah, and it's been like 3-4 weeks since I started going for the Abso set, so it's really new.
Yeah, well, it's already pretty far in. Looking good. Half of this is already 17, or like 16, 17, right? The weapon is 16, I think, right? Yeah, it's really close.
Yeah. I transferred the FAF that I had.
And is that the weapon flame? That's a tier 5, right?
Yeah, 60 attack.
Yeah. Oh, tier 6 is like, is it like 79 or something like that?
I don't remember on the top of my head.
Yeah, it's something like that, I think. Yeah, that'd be a nice increase, because like you said, right, the Eternals is still not Eternals, sorry, the Arcanes is still quite a bit away.
Yeah,
so,
I'm very far away. I only have like 20 something droplets or something like that.
Yeah, and then you need the boss droplets, and you need to be killing Lucid for a while, so that's gonna take a hot minute. So the improving the flame on the weapon is also still going to be very valuable. But of course, if you have like event Eternals or something, that's always going to be a priority for your weapon. Yeah, definitely try to hit that tier 6 attack, and if you can get anything on top of tier 6 attack, that would be highly desirable.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm scrolling through everything, but you can't think of anything else? You're good? Everything you had on your mind got answered? Anything that's left?
Yep. I have solid goals for the next few weeks and what to do next with my equipment. So, yep, just do daily arcane quests to level up my arcane power.
Yeah,
more.
that's a good solid thing to keep doing if you have time for that. Yeah, if you don't absolutely hate it, but definitely in terms of increasing your damage, that's very important. Yep,
definitely. So yeah, no, I don't have any other questions for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, you're very welcome. I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully the event all goes smoothly. Everything goes up to 17. You keep some money, then you can get that drop rate set completely sorted out, and maybe start working on some legendary, right, on the shoes, stuff like that. Maybe get a cheeky flame in here and there, get a good nice weapon flame, and then yeah, it's just going to be grinding it out and practicing the bosses. But then I don't know how you are with guild skills. If you guys get at least like 1 or 2 skills max there, then Lucid should be pretty soon on the list after that, right?
No, the guild that I'm at is just for mules, and it doesn't have any active skills. Only the passives that you get. They
Oh,
don't
okay.
even do races or anything.
Nobody
So I
does
will be
any.
looking
Okay.
to
Yeah.
move over to a different guild in the
Yeah.
um,
I
not
think
so distant future. Yeah.
exactly. 'Cause that's and the reason I mention that is because if you're really looking at because you're looking at stat as your number, but it's really just one of the numbers, right? And if you're like 26k stat, but you have no guild skills, someone who's like 22k stat but has full guild skills is gonna outdamage you. You know, even if they have the same level of hands, because guild skills are insane. Just the critical damage alone, that skill, right? It's just broken. So if you can put guild skills, some boss damage, and the damage, you throw them all together, like that's crazy amount of damage, and that's going to, translate itself into stat, kind of, right? But not directly, but like indirectly, like an invisible damage increase. So, yeah, it's good that
Yeah.
you're already thinking about that, because that's definitely something I would, as like parting words, definitely let you know that if you're you're not going to be progressing very quickly, and upgrading is going to take a long time. Getting guild skills is a huge injection, and if you can play on a regular basis and you can do culvert and a flag race like summer through the week to participate, that's a huge amount of damage that you can get from that. So, yes, would highly recommend.
Yeah. I was thinking, as soon as I reach like the 240s,
hmm
maybe apply to your guild.
Yeah, yeah, we're trying to set up lucid parties and stuff, and we have a lot of people in the alliance active, so we're always looking for fresh blood. I mean, for new members.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I wish you good luck, and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you very much. The same to you.
All
See
right.
you around.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Whew, all right, cool. My voice didn't completely give out. Throat still properly lubricated, not sore. Poggers. Okay. But yeah, so anyone who's in a similar situation, limited play time, some of the pieces are already quite there. Some other pieces might still be lagging a little bit. We've got the Nobu Room plus 5, 10, 15 combination coming up in not super long, so make sure you check the event calendar and check the patch note video that I did very recently. By that I mean yesterday, on all the details of that, because that is going to save you an insane amount of money and give you a really big jump. If you can make like some 12 star to 17 star, you can do right on the Abzo pieces, right on the superior pieces. You don't have to do the transfer meme thing, because it's not really going to save you that much money, because the real reason it saves you that money is because you otherwise have to safeguard up to 15, right? And now you don't have to with the No Boom Room. So you can completely bypass all of that. And if you need a time to get 150 backups to be able to fodder, or 150 backups, again, you don't need to spend that time. You can just go straight up on the item itself. So save that money, get those immediate upgrades, and maybe forgo, the legendary potentialing for a little bit. Get your WSE, get your drop in Mesogear, but the other pieces are fine at Epic. Work on 17 star first, get that solid foundational damage from the Star Force, and then work your way back and work on the Star Force later. Sorry, on the cubing later, on the potential later, because there is also floating around maybe the possibility of a cube sale somewhere nearby. So hopefully you can remake your money by then and then get your cheap cubes. That would be really nice. Yeah, so with that said, I will soon draw the winners from September for the progression sessions. I've been sick for a few days, so the progression sessions have been piling up a little bit. I think I've got one Sunday, but I think I've got 2 more that people have kind of requested that they want, and then a third one kind of as well. So I'm kind of juggling a little bit too many of them right now. So if you want one, let me know and just hit me up on Discord, and I can, just check the schedule and see if we can like plan it all out. But with that said, if you guys want a session, make sure you check the description of the video. There's also a huge playlist with other sessions if you want to watch another one. And, hopefully you learn something, one thing from all of them, and then you put them all together, and then you get a free session yourself, So, yeah, if you need any of the resources, we didn't really go through like a million commands or anything, but if you need this or any of the other resources I have, check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Scardor. And if you would like to win, there we go, like to win one of these sessions for free, make sure you leave a comment that you would like to win with your Discord name so I can reach out to you. And at the end of next month, I will draw 2 winners for this month as well, for lucky people who get a free session. All right, See you on the next video or over at Twitch. Thanks for watching.